right, welcome in. Little Michigan basketball post game here. Wolverines on the road in Bloomington. And they get it done against the Hoosiers, 80-62. How about that? Michigan going on the road, serving up Indiana, their first home loss of the year. Indiana coming off the big win Thursday night against Purdue, number 4 Purdue, and Michigan goes into Assembly Hall and comes away with a victory. And really, man, the Michigan, this was a boat racing. They got up early and poured it on. They were up. Michigan was pretty handily at the half by 8, although it got up to 16. It was trimmed, I guess, to 8 at the half, and then Michigan was able to get back up by 16 in the second half. And, they end up cruising to this 18-point victory. A lot of things to like if you're a Michigan fan about this one. And I would start out, Dan Bonner was the color analyst. And, sometimes you just say things that are really obvious and, they almost sound cliche, but, they're true. And Dan Bonner late in this game says, you look a whole lot better when the ball goes to the basket. And you know what? No truer words were ever said about Michigan. I mean, everybody was shooting well right out of the gate, and they looked really good. And then you follow that up, Hunter Dickinson, he looked great today. This was the Hunter Dickinson, heading into the season. I looked at Michigan, and I thought that they were. I placed my vote, if I had one, for anything official, for them being Big Ten season favorites and a team that could win it all. The first thing I thought about when picking Michigan with lofty preseason expectations was Hunter Dickinson. I mean, the guy can be a monster, and today he was. I mean, he was great. And we look at his outside shooting and whether it was a big deal expanding his game. It's a big deal if he wants to get picked in the first round of the NBA. I always thought it wasn't all that big of a deal for Michigan if he was out there shooting threes or. One was close to a 3. It was a step back type situation. But you know what? If he can do, and if he can shoot like he did today, I mean, you start saying the sky's the limit. But man, you are thinking about a guy that, how dangerous. I mean, he already is a load for other teams to handle down in the box and in the paint. And, for him to be able to step out. And, then the passing game, there's other thing like, Hunter Dickinson, he gets it wherever he's at, up top and on the wing. He Devontae Jones cut. He just handed one off to him and it went up for a layup. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. There was a lot of things like that. And Hunter could pass the ball, work the ball, through Hunter Dickinson. And then, when guys are able to knock down their shots from outside, Michigan is a dangerous team. And, Caleb Houston played his best game in Amazing Blue uniform today. And Caleb Houston had really been struggling, like so much struggling where you think, hey, if this was an above 500 team or a team that, you thought was, eyeing first place and they had other answers, that he would be on the bench, but they didn't. So he had to work through it. But, whether you're going to say you saw a glimpse or, you saw what, Caleb Houston, can be at 6'8", draining threes like he was. And, that's if he can be play anything close like he did today, you're starting to talk about a 1-2 punch. And then, Eli Brooks can find his, game, when you have to have Eli Brooks be, your top choice or your big scorer, if he can be an auxiliary guy, pitch in here, pitch in there. And, you have your main guns being Hunter Dickinson and Caleb Houston like they were today. I mean, that is something that you want if you're Juwan Howard, if you're a Michigan basketball fan. But, this one today, and, it starts with Hunter, but then quickly you mentioned Caleb Houston and the way that he played today. And then, some of the other guys that I would look at, Moussa Diabate made a couple plays in this game. And we've seen this season. We saw it early in the early going. I mean, Moussa Diabate is making plays. He makes these wow athletic plays, and that's what you do. You're like, well, wow, look at this. He had he got called for a foul. He was trailing a guy that was going up for the layup, and I don't know if he pinned it. It didn't even look like a foul. I think, a lot of times the refs just, they anticipate the contact, and he was so far behind. They were looking at it because I think afterward, he actually, the whoever the guy was from the Hoosiers ended up, taking a shoulder from his own teammate. It was a little friendly fire there, but him and Diabate were close, so they were taking a look at it. So they kept showing it. I think Diabate, pinned it on the glass. It was really close. I understand that they call the foul there, but it was one of those freakish moments. There was another play late in that game where he dove and got a tie up, and the possession arrow was going Michigan's way. Again, he's showing that's just great. There's a great hustle there, but he's just a great athlete. He really is. And when Diabate can just be that guy who can throw his athleticism around, you're not counting on him to be the first scorer, the second scorer, the third scorer. You're just counting on him. Hey, be a garbage guy. Be a guy that go fly around and just be let that athletic ability flow and see where it goes. That's good. So we saw all of that. I think we saw, close to, Michigan being its best. Now, you say that, and this, it probably was their best game of the year. You go on a road and you beat a team that hadn't lost on the road. You beat a team that, that was coming off a win. And, conference road wins are huge. You don't need me to tell you that, but, a team that hadn't lost at home and it's coming off a major victory like that, it speaks for itself. But, the shooting is what, and playing, with Hunter, through Hunter, or whatever it was. And then the shooting, Terrence Williams, 4 of 5 off the bench, including 2 of 2 from downtown. How about that? Brandon Johns being back on the team. His first shot that goes up there, boom, drains it, 3-pointer. Johns was 2 of 2 from the floor. And there you go. And Caleb Houston ends up being 5 of 7 from 3-point range, 7 of 12, 19 points. And there you go. Hunter Dickinson, 25 big ones. 28 was his career high. And Michigan gets the victory. Now, what it means here, Michigan coming off the win on Tuesday against Maryland. Now they'll have Northwestern coming up. That's a Wednesday game at the Chrysler Center. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself when you say, okay, the victory, they played well, looked good against Maryland. It's like, okay, go out there and get back-to-back wins, get a road win. And they did that today against Indiana. So now they've stacked some wins here. They've got another one coming up. We know Northwestern beat Michigan State just last week, so it's not like you automatically just, chalk that W up. But, win, 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 get a little winning streak going here. And, then you could start at least looking and peeking ahead, at the games. Maybe they'll make up some of these games against Purdue and Michigan State, and now Michigan, playing better, getting their feet under them on themselves. Maybe they caught a break that way, not having to play Purdue and Michigan State, coming into the new year. You can't predict those things, or they didn't do it on purpose. Okay, let's just delay these games. I know some people say that they did that, but they didn't have the players, and it was a random thing, and there it is. But they possibly, if they can get those games back, you could say, hey, maybe they caught a break. If there is such a thing when you're talking about COVID and not having your team and all that kind of thing. But well, there you go. So nice job by Michigan today to go on the road, get the win, 80-62, the final. Your number 1 star, Hunter Dickinson. Your number 2 star is Caleb Houston. And number 3 star goes to Musa Diabate. All 3 of those guys had double figures. Give a shout out to Frankie Collins. It is his 20th birthday today for the freshman point guard from Michigan. So happy birthday to Frankie Collins as Michigan gets the win. Speaking of Michigan, we're waiting to see if that's it for Tom Brady or not. The way Matt Stafford and the Rams had him down in the first half, it looks like it's all over, but the shouting, I don't know. They're during a commercial here, so I don't have the exact update, or I would give it to you. The update from Bloomington at Assembly Hall. It was Michigan jumping out to the early lead after 10 minutes. They were up 21-11. They got up by as many as 16 in the first half. They led by 8 at the break. And I'll say it, they cruised to an 80-64 victory over Indiana. Michigan is now 9-7, and that evens up their Big Ten record at 3-3. So there you go. 27-13, 6 minutes to go in that divisional game down to the big sombrero in Tampa Bay. So, Tom Brady's done it before. He can do it again. Although I'm not predicting that. I think it's going to be the Rams. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're on the podcast, I'll talk with you on Monday for the afternoon live show. I'm always there for that afternoon live show, 1 o'clock. Be there. That is tomorrow. Until then, see you. Thanks. Bye.